Pisces, this is going to be your June 2021 cosmic forecast. We are going to deep dive into your month ahead and beyond using the tarot, astrology and oracle. So let's get right into this reading. Let's pull for, what I'll do is I'll structure pull cards for past, present, future, just to get them out there, talk a little bit more about them, then we'll show you the spread and go deeper. So for now, what has been going on in the past for Pisces? Okay, let's see what you've been dealing with. Okay, so this is going to be the Seven of Swords coming through, and this is, let's take this to like late May coming into June, or May in general. Knight of Wands and the Sun. Some planning some trips, some planning some movement, some tactical and resourceful planning. Some of you are planting something, some of you are planting something in a sunny area, or you're thinking about something in a warmer climate, or something is coming up. Could be dealing with the fire sign as of late, someone like a Leo, Sagittarius or Aries, that's really making you feel inspired. You're inspired by their get up and go, and you're inspired by somebody's like total confidence like in what they deserve. Okay, but I see like some impulsive movement have been taken and risky actions have been undertaken in the month of May, Pisces. Let's have a look at your energies coming up presently for June 2021. And then I will show you this spread and we'll definitely go deeper into these. Okay, so coming up we have the Lovers card for the month of June, followed by, we've got the Eight of Cups. Okay, so that's actually Saturn in Pisces. So we have your energy coming through, and King of Cups, more water sign energy. Oh, the Tower at the bottom of the deck. Are we anticipating some sort of an argument with another water sign? Are we fighting with ourselves at the moment? Could be somebody you're in a relationship with, Pisces, and there is a real difference of the direction that you guys are going in together. For some of you, you have a choice to make about leaving something in the past. You have a choice to make. Are you going to leave it behind and just restabilize again, or are you going to flog the dead horse and resurrect something that still, it's actually, you think it's a dead horse, or at least they do, but actually there's a lot of energy building up behind this, like I can see a lover's tiff, or I can see a great deal of passion around a sort of romantic connection at the moment. But overall, we'll go deeper. Pisces, you have a choice to make, a really important one in June. Let's look at what energies are coming up for Pisces, end of the month going into July. So June into July, what energies can Pisces expect? Two of Wands. That's that decision, but now it's a choice of like what to do, where to go. Ace of Wands, very, very clear and excited about the choice that you've made. Page of Pentacles. It seems to be one that involves some sort of a fresh start energy between you and another person, or you're taking on an endeavor. Some of you are very focused on making a reconciliation happen, and it's with somebody that you know that you have to totally drop the past with, and initiate this sort of fresh start of energy. But flow and harmony is restored after I see what could be a kind of more energetic or chaotic eclipse season energy in June. So we'll get into the astrology, but June is one of the most astrologically busy months of all of 2021. Okay, let's get into these cards before going even deeper. Okay, so you've been plotting and planning of something as of late, using all of your resources, thinking outside the box, and making kind of more impulsive actions. I feel like your movements and your actions they've been thought through on one way, but you were kind of having tunnel vision on something, Pisces, and you were like you were rushing around and not really thinking things through properly. You thought you had everything figured out. You thought you could get away with this and be kind of cunning, or like say you were going to do something but not really do it, but keep up appearances that you were. And that could be the energy of, okay, yeah, the Sun card is the best disinfectant, right? That's light. So something is exposed or has been exposed, a truth, and you were trying to get away with something, and you were almost going so quickly with it, and like, oh, blah 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 blah, don't listen, don't look, you know, the less transparent you were and the quicker you did something, you just figured that would be like the least painful. But we have that Tower moment just creeping in some way, and it's telling me like, this might not be the last you've heard of it. The Sun card, you are feeling like a little bit guilty because you're like, is this me? Am I sneaky, or am I like underhanded in some way? Something has been exposed. The Sun card has really clarified something. And when the Sun moved into Gemini at the end of the month, for Pisces rising, that was into your 9th house of beliefs, and there was something that became clear to you about your beliefs and your convictions, and there was no hiding it or no lying about it. You maybe didn't want to expose it all, but you could there was no way for you to say nothing, basically. So your convictions and your beliefs and who you felt like, oh, I don't know, I have to be myself, even if this is going to be reckless or impulsive, your desire to really be authentic and true to yourself outweighed that. So we'll clear it up and see how that kind of affected things. But meanwhile, going into the month of June, I see a greater sense of freedom for you. Jupiter is in its home sign of Pisces, your sign, and Jupiter is very expansive, and Pisces has no boundaries. So we do see more freedom, and the Lover's card is very much about freedom. It's when we're aligned with a person, a place, a way of being, and we look in the mirror and we feel like, oh yeah, this is truly me. The Sun card and the Lovers, I am being true to myself. I recognize the person I am now. Whereas in May, there was like, who am I? These questions, and you were rushing over these answers. You weren't even getting to the bottom of anything in May. You were just zooming straight past it. I'll figure that out later. But you couldn't really run from this truth, okay? And so some choice has come up around a truth, okay? And if it's something to do with the relationship, I sense that some of you are giving something another chance, or else ultimately deciding that this isn't working out this month, and that's what your choice is. But I feel like I'm inclined to think, so far we'll clear it up, because with the water signs, something looks like one way on the surface, and when we clear up, it takes another layer is developed. King of Cups tells me that you're open to love now, that you've been doing like the work on yourself, and now you're really ready to share that with somebody else in a very healthy way. This is healthy, and I think some of it is coming up from giving something another chance, but maybe that Tower moment has to happen first. Like, you need to get everything out in the open before you can give this the chance that it deserves. You're either looking in the mirror and really feeling aligned and authentically true to yourself in the month of June, or else you look at the person you're with, the lover, the soulmate that you're with, and your values, and you see each other's values being met, and you kind of see each other as more of a mirror image of each other and a reflection of each other's good and bad qualities, let's just say. We'll clear it up. But this decision, the formation of the decision and the main part seems to be happening in the month of June, and there's a motivation behind this decision. 2 major arcana cards, our only major arcana cards here, beautiful cards, the Lovers and the Sun. This decision is going to set you free. There's a real liberation attached to both of these energies together, and it shows me that you're going to land on the right choice, and that you know what you're going to do at this point in June, but I don't think you'll fully execute the decision until the end of the month. 2 of Wands, we're making a decision. 2 Wand, which one do we pick? Well, we pick one of them, and things really start to become more fiery, more brighter, more sparking joy and more sparking inspiration when we land on our choice. Because this Saturn retrograde and Mercury retrograde, now Mercury retrograde will be over by June 22nd-ish, but Saturn not until October. So there's like this, like, there's a limit as to what you can really do at the moment. You think like you feel like there's just like so many choices to make still, but ultimately I sort of see you going towards something that you have a natural creative spark and passion for. You're going to be undertaking something new this month, and it could be like, I don't know, like research or launching a website or researching something about what your next steps are, but it will require you to do some homework and some learning and some looking into it, and comparing prices, comparing artists, comparing comparing different professional specialized people that have done this already. You're looking at their work, or you're copying, or you're getting inspiration from. It seems like you're drawing inspiration from teachers or other students in your field. Okay, let's look at these cards at the moment, okay? So Pisces, let's talk about the astrology and then we're going to pull some more cards. Okay, can we see this all set up? Okay, we more or less can. I'm going to just push this back just a tad. Sorry, now we're good, Okay, so we are in the middle of eclipse season. Pisces, I read the astrology, guys, for the rising sign position. So Pisces, if you know your rising sign, go check that out. For example, if you're Pisces Sun, Libra rising, just go watch the Libra video to figure out the astrology portion. And it's always good to watch for your rising sign too. You can really get more insight, or sometimes that reading is just more for you. Okay, so what's happening with astrology? So Pisces rising and Pisces in general, but more specific to the rising. We've got eclipse season falling in the Sagittarius Gemini axis, and that's Pisces rising's 10th house to 4th house. So 10th house, top of the chart, career, profession, calling, vocation, public recognition, what you get seen for, and you know, the bottom of the chart is the 4th house, home and living situation. So I feel like a lot of changes and very dynamic, a lot of dynamics between your 10th house of career and 4th house of private home life. You might have had a conflict then. Oh, I have to put my career first, my family life is going to suffer. I have to put family first, now my career is going to suffer. So there's been changes around that, and there has been like more significant beginnings, or you can see the seed of the new beginning happening, especially after June 10th. So we had an eclipse on May 26th and we'll have one on June 10th. So between those couple of weeks, right, think of what kind of seeds are being sown for change in your life, and where it's going. Like, where are you going with these eclipses? What are you ending? What are you undertaking? So I'm thinking for Pisces rising, it's all around career topics and home and living topics. Maybe you have to move your family home, 4th house, to another location so that you can further your career, 10th house, or maybe you had to leave a career to focus on family. It's stuff like that, okay? And then we have Saturn stationed retrograde, and that's in Pisces rising's 12th house. So on May 23rd, Saturn went retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, Pisces rising's 12th house, and during that time, for the next 5 months, Pisces rising, you're going to be confronting some old hauntings of psychological ghosts as such, and you're going to be seeing how you can let them go, because they're stopping you from, basically the 12th house is all about our psychology, it's our mental health, it's spirituality, it's also secrets. So we want to know like what's stopping us from advancing on our spiritual path at this time, Pisces rising, and over the next 5 months you'll figure out what ghosts still haunt you there and hold you back. Okay, I think that's more or less it. Jupiter being in Pisces is really expansive for the sign of Pisces. For Pisces rising, this is all happening in your 1st house of appearance. So, you know, you could be really, you could be really stepping into a much more optimistic body image at this time. You could be really undertaking something to do with your self-identity, reinventing yourself. You have so much more possibilities and options about how you see the world. You're seeing it through rejuvenated optimism. They're all kind of Jupiter keywords, like optimism restored about the world around you and how you interact with the world around you. For June and July, the world, your external world, seems to just be really, really harmonious, and like it's reacting well to your internal, and there's like a symbiotic relationship between your internal state of being and the external reality. Oh, let me see, I'm skipping past my oracle. Let me ground this again, okay, because we went on a bit of a ramble there about the astrology. Let me ground this now. Let's pull a message from this oracle as something that Pisces needs to know from their highest, most authentic self. Major arcana cards in the reading so far, the Sun and the Lovers. They're beautiful cards. This talks to me about being with somebody in a relationship that's very liberating, or just like a really liberated relationship with yourself, where you feel free, where you feel authentically you. It's like this wants me, it wants me to take something from the bottom, but it's really hard to get them. Okay, so it's called Drink from the Emerald Fountain. Number 7, Drink from the Emerald Fountain. Number 7 might be some sort of a number that feels important to you at this time, but let me read what it says about this. So it's saying, the divine feminine is encouraging the awakening and empowering of all living beings. When a sincere seeker is trying to find the way through, there is much help sent. It makes sense to be open to receive it, indeed to step forward and drink from the emerald fountain, which is the unconditionally loving heart chakra of Kuan Yin. Allow yourself to be nourished by the power and love of the Divine Mother flowing to you now. Okay, so it goes on to say there is nothing to be gained by making life more difficult than it needs to be, other than unnecessary stress or perhaps learning that it isn't much fun this way. At this time, you are going through a time of important spiritual growth. Your higher self has set a spiritual schedule, and it's been planning on being at a certain destination in time and space to set events in motion, to benefit from synchronicities, and to be able to live out its divine purpose in the physical world. The soul is very resourceful and is calling for divine help in getting in this destination on time. So you do have a spiritual path destined for you at this moment. And eclipses in astrology, Pisces, are super fueled lunations, which propel us towards destiny. So any significant changes, endings, beginnings, or just things that are being marked or very noticeable at this time, take them, even if they're uncomfortable or if they're exciting. They are part of your destiny, and they're all just kind of propel you to that sort of destined state of being. Okay, but you are, if you feel being tested right now in a spiritual sense, yes, I can see that you probably are, but call in for help from your guides, your angels, your highest self. It says that the seeker, the deserving seeker, will always find help easier. And anyway, Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces right now, manifest to your heart's content, please. Please don't waste that Jupiter in Pisces magic. Okay, so I want to look at the Eight of Swords, or I mean the Seven of Swords, the King of Wands, or Knight of Wands, sorry, and the Sun. It's in reverse, the Seven of Cups. And in upright position, it is the Five of Swords. Now, something came up with the person that you really care about, like a friend, family, loved one, romantic relationship or business partnership, that was very, very confusing, and it's nothing that you haven't seen before with this person. However, there was a lot of choices that you and this person had to make, or this group of people, about their own individual path. Now, why did this concern you so much? Because you've seen them make a mistake before, and you were hoping that they would not repeat this mistake. You finally got clear in your mind about what they needed to do, but they were not listening to you. So you have to try and remember that they are on their own individual path, and you really can't do much about it other than, I guess, try and be there to support on the other side, unless of course it's harmful to you, and then I guess taking a step back and moving on would be the best thing to do. And realizing that you really can't change their direction at this time. You have had a lot of decisions to make, and I see that by the end of May, I now see what happened. You got clear on your decision. The Sun card, okay, that was illuminating for you. Something became very, very clear for you. In and around a friendship, a connection. This was something emotional. This is about somebody you care for, like a friend or something. It wasn't it was more personal than work or anything like that. You had seen, it was like, okay, this Five of Swords is the card of self-sabotage. For Pisces rising, this Saturn retrograde transit in your 12th house of self-undoing, because the 12th house is where hidden enemies are. The 7th house is where our known enemies are. But in the hidden enemies section, we often find ourselves as our own worst enemy. And when we self-sabotage, that is self-undoing. So all this 12th house activity, especially for Pisces rising, is these 5 months, Five of Swords, these 5 harder months maybe, in terms of like you coming to terms with like old ghosts that haunt you, and how you self-sabotage is going to become clearer to you. And I see that you're making a choice in June. Let's look at it. But you landed on your path. You landed on subconsciously what it is that you wanted to do by the end of May. Let's look at the Lovers and the Eight of Cups and the King of Cups. So you're becoming clear, or you have already become clear, about the ways you self-sabotage, Pisces, and also how you watch others engage in self-sabotage too. Whether or not you can do anything about theirs, I guess not. You have to just focus on yourself and how you're going to be not stepping into the Five of Swords self-sabotage. Okay, June energies. Four of Wands in reverse, and the Magician. Okay, so yes, there are synchronicities at play here. Like our oracle said, you are going to be stepping into these synchronizations, and that's the Eight of Wands. But in the meantime, there has to be some sort of a destabilization, actually. Like we're not looking actually to reharmonize this month or make stable again. We're looking to break a few molds and shake up some foundations so that finally we're able to be stable again, but it's not built on any deceit. It's not built on anything dishonorable or trickstery. It's built on, you know, the light of day and the truth kind of being at the center of it. And it's built on like our best intentions for ourselves and others. But if something needs to be, in a sense, shaken up or like rattled, and the foundations of something need to be tested, I'm seeing in the month of June. And I feel like you're going to be the agent for this, the Magician. You're going to be the one that's actually making all these changes happen and like, I don't know, shaking things up a bit. Maybe it's shaking things up in your relationship. Maybe it's shaking things up in the home and living situation with that eclipse energy. Maybe it's shaking things up at the company you work with. But basically you're testing the foundation and you're testing the waters, Pisces, in a big way, and we're seeing what's going to stand on the other side of things. But you're the one doing this. So any volatility, like the Tower moment, any volatility or any shakeups or breakups or anything like that seems to be directed from your internal will, like the Magician, rather than something external happening. So you're the agent for the change that's happening. Even if it's subconscious to you, you don't really recognize it. I think a lot of you do recognize it, but there is like a real motivation to test something and to prod at something. Okay, so what are we stepping into? Coming up in the future, there is some sort of a decision, a fresh start, and there is a lot more inspiration. So let's see what's coming through end of June going into July. But remember, Pisces, the energy on these readings, like time, is fluid. So take what resonates with this for past, present, future, and just leave the rest. That Two of Swords is a kind of continuation of the decision and the Knight of Swords. You're aware that this decision is going to cause stress to other people, and this decision is going to involve some sort of oh, I wish that didn't happen so fast. I won't get a chance to say goodbye, or I won't get a chance to make amends. You're aware that when you make this decision, there may not be time to pick up the pieces, okay? But why do you still have such an urge to do this? Why do you still want to test the foundations, even though you know that there's not going to be time or like even reciprocity from the other person to pick up the pieces? For some reason, it's like why it's so hard for you to make this decision. This sword seems like it's going to hurt another, and when you make your decision, it seems like it's going to like pierce something or somebody, or just like cause a lot of stress and anxiety, really. But all in all, it's still like, stand your ground on this. Your convictions are really strong at the moment, especially, Pisces, if somebody is taking advantage of you and is like taking you for granted. Basically, that's why it could be in work, it could be in your personal relationships. That's why you need to stand your ground, because ultimately you feel like you're being taken advantage of. Watch out for an exertion of your dominance, because you don't want to be overbearing, but at the same time, if there's somebody that's like always overbearing on you and super dominant, you might be making the decision to cut ties in some sort of a way. And that foundation you're testing, you could be like, well, is this person like always here and offering their opinion and being a little bit forceful because they truly care about me, or are they just controlling? And that's what you need to find out. I think that's what you want to find out. Is this person just a control freak, or do they have my best interests at heart? Okay. All right, Pisces, that is going to be your June 2021 reading. I will be back for a love and relationship spread in the next week. In the meantime, feel free to hit share, like, and subscribe if you want to see more readings like this. Bye.